Hello and welcome to yet another build guide video. This time we have an update from the previous video of Lancing Steel of Spring, the minigun build, and this is for 327 League, probably onwards depending on if Grafts stay in the game or not, but that can be circumvented with some other things on the tree and on gear. So without further ado, Lancing Steel of Spring, as you have probably seen in the footage, is the minigun. We use a savior to make it even better. So let's go over what the changes are from the initial video guide to this one that I've made. Like, I have successfully managed to get to level 100, albeit playing safer maps because, you know, EXP loss is kind of awful. But I have assembled here a few POBs that one POB with few tree branches that you can use to swap. Now, what I've also done is, instead of actually writing a full-blown crafting stuff, now it's all on my website, which we will touch shortly. Now, first things first, when you swap to Lancing Steel of Spring, what you need mana reservation efficiency. That can be acquired by the mana reservation efficiency node here, or acquired here. The one thing that this build basically needs are the cluster jewels, which are generally cheap depending on when you start the league. They start off from 1 divine and then they go down the farther the league we are in. So those shouldn't be too expensive. Now, one additional thing that was the change is the Ascendancy. Ascendancy, we are not using Worthy Foe anymore, at least while this is in the game. We'll see if it's going to stay. We are, however, using Farrell's Ascendancy for trigger level 20 Summon Spectral Tiger on Critical Strike. This is acquired by killing Farrell in Farrell's Den in the Menagerie by buying a Pharric Tiger Alpha Beast and then going to Menagerie and proceeding with the encounter. Then you click the altar and you get these. What do these give us? They give us attack speed and critical strike chance. It is 25 increased critical strike chance per tiger and 7% attack and cast speed as well. You can have 5, so that's a pretty significant boost, which is also in the config files here, which is kind of crazy. So there's that. Now, I found that it's 25 and 7. If it's anything different, just edit it out. I couldn't find any more details on it, so I'll trust as is. Those on PoE Wiki. Anyways, so that's what you first need. Then when it comes to getting like crafted upgrades and things, you're going for ailment immunity jewel and stuff, and then you're going through expensive jewels, which is basically Watcher's Eye and your Ascendancy. Same thing like it is in the previous guide, and then in the end, when you get to higher levels, you are swapping out the spell Suppression to Mark Mastery, so you get even more tanky. And then in the end, you get Sword Mastery for chance to gain Frenzy Charge on hit when you hit a unique enemy. Now, this is instead of the 20% chance to impale, so that's an important thing to mention. That's because of the Grafts. In a second. One additional thing that you would need for the build is you will need exactly 1 tattoo of the Ramako Archer, which gives us global accuracy rating, which really does help. Now, for the other ones, tattoo of the Thessalio Scout, increased effect of your marks. I didn't feel the difference even with them or without them, so if you want to put them in, you can. You don't really need to. You can put any other tattoos as long as you have the stats for everything else. Now, when it comes to the gearing part, as I said, the mandatory thing is Graft. This is Impaling Ul Graft, and you will need total of minimum 25% chance to impale Graft, because we have 75% chance to impale without it. With it, we have 100%. Now, the 2 Grafts that I use are Pulsating Husk Impaling Ul Graft. Don't go by name, I just read it. Sorry. So we have the chance to impale on attacks, chance to impale, and then whatever. Graft Blood stored or Graft Blood gained is whatever, or life, whatever you want. Violent Desire grants 10% attack speed and 50% increased effect of impale. That doesn't get counted in the POB. So just while we have rage, we basically have extra damage. And then the next one is Hardening Graft, which gives us physical damage reduction, life, and buff grants damage, leeches life, and more life recovery rate. This is basically irrelevant. The point of this one is while you're on low life, Graft will periodically apply a buff to you, which grants life recovery rate as well as an endurance charge, which is just a simple way of getting more damage reduction. So if you want to grab life on it, you can. You don't really need to. This one was basically optional. However, this one was mandatory because of chance to impale. All right, when it comes to the next part, which are basically items, what do you need for the build? You need any Paradoxica with fizz damage. Doesn't really matter if you get attack speed, if you don't get attack speed, if it's whatever. You just need it with physical damage. That's basically it. Later on, if you have the money for it, it's a few divines. It's usually not that expensive. So, or not that cheap or whatever. It's a few divines always. You can get a Paradoxica with fizz damage and with attack speed. That's basically it. And Savior is basically mandatory. Savior gives us two reflections that deal half a damage each of us, and that's basically it. Now, Replica Dragonfang's Flight is also mandatory with 10% reservation efficiency, as we need reservation efficiency. And if you can't afford the top upgrade, if you go like step by step, you will need to add Sovereignty with 3 silver oils just for mana reservation. Perseverance is a phenomenal belt because we have Fortification and we have Onslaught while we have it, plus attack damage for 200 lowest armor and evasion rating. Now on to the crafted upgrades. This is the most important part that we have here as well. So crafted things we have helmet, body armor, gloves, boots, and not here, but we also have a ring because I put ring in the expensive ones. So what you want? Technically, you can check out my website, heavyheals.com. On here, you will find the crafting part on the left side. When you click crafting, still unfinished, work in progress, you can click on the things for crafting. As an example, for helmets. Helmets, we have mana reservation efficiency. This is also in the notes, by the way, so it is basically linked. You can use that, so please do. And this is the short version. I will make a video later on talking about crafting and stuff, so there's that. So that's also the same for gloves with attack speed, ailment immunity boots with step-by-step process. There's a video for that. The body armor with mana reservation efficiency or general craft, and you have curse on hit ring. Now, for all of these, they are all mentioned on the website in the notes. You can find it all, so nothing more to be said there. The only thing that you do need is your secondary ring needs to be very big stat stick. That's it, basically. Now, for the unique jewels that we are doing, we have unique jewels that are... Oops. Unique jewels that are Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh for the 5th Ascendancy, which is Endless Hunger, which gives us, here you go, 20% of overkill damage is leeched as life, 20% attack speed while leeching, cannot be stunned while leeching, and unaffected by bleeding while leeching. You will be surprised by how useful this is. However, the price of this one can vary. And now the most important unique jewel that we need is Watcher's Eye. Now, this Watcher's Eye impales you, inflict last 2 additional hits while using Pride, of course, mandatory, and specifically 15% chance to suppress spell damage while affected by Grace. With the gear, with the setup, and tier 1 spell suppression max roll, you can always divine it from 13 to 14, you need 14% chance to spell suppress, and this 15 here, plus the 15 from courage when we hit, and the rest on the tree, we hit 100% spell suppression. If you lack a percent here or percentage here, you can always use the spell suppression flask recovery node here just to fill in that little oomph of spell suppression that we need. Now, for the rest of the stuff, if you want to upgrade the gear more, you can always use Tempering Orbs. Tempering Orbs here to increase the physical damage on your weapon or defense on your armor, which I technically don't have, but it's not really needed. So you can do that one and then upgrade with 2 corruptions and stuff. Flasks. We have the Panic Divine Life Flask. I rolled this one myself. This dropped as like a 28% flask, and then I corrupted it and it got 37. It's irrelevant. Like, the quality gives it more recovery, but it is basically irrelevant. I just like the instant recovery when on low life, which is 50% or lower, and immunity to bleeding and corrupted blood. 2 defensive flasks are granite and jade. You want as much evasion rating and armor on them. Diamond flask for crit as per usual, and the difference between this build and the ones before, attack speed has been removed from flasks. We are now using flash charge when you deal a crit strike and reduced effect of curses. Notable mentions for the Graft to work, the impaling one, we need rage. How do we get it? On gloves. Gain 1 rage on attack hit via Searing Exarch. The reason why we need this is so that we can proc the extra impale stuff from the Graft, and that's basically it. From before, it was attack speed, and then there was overwhelm. Now its hits have chance to ignore enemy PDR and gain 1 rage on attack hit. Everything else has been put into the notes section, so keep that in mind. It's written with the links to buy everything, what you need, and the regex that I've used, which is the safe regex. You can do whatever the heck you want with this build. The one thing that the build struggles with is area elemental damage. That's what this build struggles with. You can, for that, change to Soul of Solaris for 20% chance to take 50% less area damage from hits. That's on you, but I prefer Lunaris and Tokuhama. If you die on this build, you die. That's how this build works. It's a very, very tanky build. Like, simulacrums are done in like 15 to 18 minutes, especially if you don't dawdle like I usually do, but that's basically it. Now, if I've forgotten something, do tell me in the comment section. Keep in mind one little thing. We want the Lancing Steel Spring level 21 for extra projectiles. Same thing as it was before, so nothing to mention there. Now, the one thing as well for gems is I'm using second wind here instead of more duration. It's just I found that it's a little bit better to have access to 2 enduring cries than to 1, because you want to reapply and get your endurance charges. So there's that. If you really want to, you can use more duration for more life regeneration, but that works as well. And Blood Rage I press myself. So that is basically it for this update. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comment section below. You can join the Discord as well. We have done this build. We played this build for like solid week plus, and it has been a phenomenal build. Total build cost is up to 35 divines with incremental steps of 5 to 7 divines per, depending on how big you want your crafts. And yeah, it's very easy to farm. It has auto aim. You can do basically whatever you want. However, because I'm unskilled, I couldn't kill Uber Maven, so take it as you will, and I don't do tier 17s, so yeah. That's the update. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did, sub if you don't mind, and I will see you once again in the next PoE video or stream. Have a good one.